Hello and welcome to another edition, Thursday Coach's Corner. Each week, try to bring parents, student athletes, families some access to schools that may be out of their area, out of their region, and allow you to gain some insight, information. Today, we're going to be talking about Morehead State University and the Ohio Valley Conference. And the associate head coach of Morehead is Tyler. And I want to make sure that I get this right. Were you with Liberty when Scotty was there, or were you before Scotty?
I was with Coach Jackson for 1 year in 21.
1 year, and then you came and became in this year fourth year at
Yeah. Yep.
awesome.
Fourth year.
So Tyler Jackson is the associate head coach, Morehead State, and I want to talk a little bit about the Ohio Valley Conference. Really, Austin P. I know I have some familiarity with that when we went through Tennessee back in the day. But talk to me a little bit about not only Morehead but the schools within the Ohio Valley Conference.
Yeah. Well, Austin P is actually now in the, I think the ASUN, so they actually left.
Oh, that's right. Yep, that's right.
But it's pretty much Morehead State, SEMO, Tennessee Tech, Eastern Illinois, Lindenwood, Southern Indiana, UT Martin. No, I'm forgetting somebody. SIUE. So it's 9 schools. We're all pretty much the same. Little Rock's in it, so it's stretches all the way to Arkansas now. All pretty similar programs. I'd say some do things better than others. Since I've been here, we've been very offensive, not as much on the pitching side of it. Part of that's because of our ballpark, and it's a very unique league, very small, but a lot of good players, a lot of good teams, and coaches alike.
What are some of the things around the campus that offer prospective students? Talk us a little bit about the quad or the campus itself. What makes it attractive as far as becoming a college student, not necessarily just as a student athlete?
We have a kind of like the campus hub. There's actually a bar in it now. A guy that Mr. Prefontaine that's donated for our stadium and softball, our indoor facility, and all that. He's also donated to the school. He's an alumni, and he one thing he wanted was a bar. So there's an actual pub in our student center. There's a lot of guys that go and hang out there during the day. Our main street's right off of it. There's a couple breweries on it. A lot of unique stuff. We're right next to about an hour east of Lexington, so there's the Bourbon Trail and all that guys can go and enjoy. There's a lake right on camp, probably about 10 minutes from campus, that a lot of people go and enjoy, spend time out there when it's warm, and just a lot of hiking trails, that type of stuff.
When it comes to your recruiting, are you gravitating towards JUCO, portal, high school? Is it a mix or a combination of all of the above? In light of the new settlement, where does the high school athlete fit with regard to your recruiting classes?
We still value them very much. It's going to be a mix for us. Kind of the portal JUCO guys are filling needs that we feel like need to be filled right then and there. But our main goal is to get high school kids in and develop them, and hopefully they stay with us for 4 years and then go off and keep playing, or if not, go and get a job and be successful in the real world.
So if you, when you're out during the summertime, what type of student athlete, obviously the guys that hit really hard or hit the balls really far, but what type of student athlete do you think separates themselves? You're a recruiter, when you're watching student athletes, whether that be, the transfer portal guys or the high school athletes, what are some of the separator as far as with regard to potential guys that you feel will be a good fit at Morehead State?
Guys that really enjoy playing the game.
Bingo. Yep.
Guys that look like they want to be there. It's hot in the summer. It's probably their second game of the day sometimes, but they're dragging out there playing a game. Then what are they going to do when they get to campus? That just kind of shows who really loves the game and who doesn't. And that's kind of guys I want to be around, especially with the way this generation works. It's kind of a give it to me now type of thing. And it's fun to have guys that were willing to work, to put in the work, to get better, and kind of move forward with everything.
I would love for you to expand that because, whether it's through professional ball, obviously at college, some high level high school programs or American Legion programs, you have to fight and compete to get between the lines to earn a position. A lot of times in travel ball, that's really not the case. What do you feel is the biggest struggle for some of the younger student athletes when they get to college? What do you think that, over and above the physicality component with it? What do as far as earning their opportunities, being patient, what types of, kind of attributes would you say it is required to have when you're going from high school to college to make that transition a little bit easier?
I think guys that are willing to listen, to be honest with you, I mean,
Bingo.
they come in and think they know everything, and those guys struggle. And to be honest with you, the thing I've done is just set back. If they don't want to listen, I'm not going to force it on them, but eventually they'll come to you. And if they don't, they won't be around very long because they're not going to perform. But most of the time, they're if it's the right guy, they're willing to put in the work. They're going to listen. They're going to eventually come into and ask. And that's, I mean, I tell all the guys that come on campus, recruits and everything, like this is their career. I'm not going to force them to work. I want them to work. I'm willing to work with them at all times. Whenever if they want to work, all you got to do is come get me. I'm in the office. Send me a text the night before. I'll be there at whatever time they ask. But I'm not going to force them to go in there because if you're
One of
having to force them to go in there, they're not going to get any better.
And on that, do you kind of encourage the new guys that come in every fall to kind of develop their own individual kind of extra work? I don't know if we call it extra work, whether it's
Routine.
getting in the cage when the coaches aren't around or, maybe throwing some bullpens when the coaches aren't around, getting that side work and being accountable for your skill set development. It's just not all the onus shouldn't just be on the coaches, instructors, what have you. You really need to be self-aware. Can you talk a little bit about that as college athletes with your amenities and facilities and being able to take advantage of that?
Yeah, I mean, we try to establish a routine right when they get on campus to kind of give them a baseline of this is what we're doing every day. And I tell all of them like they have to listen whatever I say. Like our other coaches, like the tips they give them to be able to use them when we're not around, because they're going to hit way more by themselves with their teammates than they are with us. It's just the nature of it. They spend. I mean, I know we have guys every night that go in our barn and hit. They cut the lights on, have the machine in there, and they'll hit all night. So making sure they're doing it right when they're together, doing it that way, because at the end of the day, that's the work that's going to get them better and get them on the field.
A lot of times, a lot of the younger athletes kind of have a tough time mentally flushing previous day, previous at bats, previous innings. I was wondering if you could kind of share how do you get those younger athletes to mentally understand it's a long season, not always going to have, massive successes and ebb and a flow. How do you get them to mentally understand the length and the challenges of a long, 4-month college baseball season?
Just, I mean, being encouraging and trying to stay upbeat, positive the whole time. That's one thing that we've had to do a better job of. Like myself personally, like I'll get frustrated, and it's not frustrated because they're. I want them to have the success because I see how much work they're putting in, and not showing that frustration. I guess would be the biggest thing. But just guys all the time, just keeping the positive body language and encouraging themselves, positive self talk. Like it's going to turn around the next at bat. Just making sure, reminding them like you're the best player on the field at all times. Like you have to tell yourself that, and whether you are or you're not, you have to believe that.
One of the questions that I always get from parents more than the athletes, do college coaches now, not just at Morehead State, but do you feel like college coaches now have to not re-recruit every year? I don't know any other better phrase for that. As far as, do you feel like college students, athletes are in it to win it for the 4 or 5 years, or do you feel like you're always having to make sure that they're doing good, and happy, and content, and kind of re-recruiting your athletes?
And I think it's different, probably everywhere. For us, like last year, for example, we had a senior loaded class that had all been in Morehead for the last three since I'd been there, and had a coaching change, and they all came back. And I think if you do it the right way, like you're going to lose some here or there, but for the most part, if you have a good relationship with them and really care about them, then they're not going to be looking for that next thing.
Right.
At the same time, if there's some that probably should, just to get the opportunity, if they have a chance to make money, which we can't offer that
Right.
SEC schools do. I mean, who am I to say like, no, you shouldn't do that? But I mean, because if a school comes and offers me a lot more money, like, be fair, I'm probably going to take that job to help my family out. So can't really discriminate when they do it. But for the most part, I think you just have a good relationship with them, and like you don't have to worry about it as much.
What kind of role do college camps play for you or your program during the summer? And I assume you have some in the fall. Do you encourage, potential student athletes to take advantage of that opportunity with regard to the camps to not only showcase their skill sets, but to kind of see the campus, get an idea of the layout of the campus, and more importantly, kind of develop a rapport with the coaching staff?
Very much so. I mean, we use our camps heavily in recruiting, and it helps offset one of our assistants. He kind of our third assistant gets all the money from that, and that's how he survives. But we don't use it for just a money making thing. I mean, it's very small. Like I think the biggest one we've ever had since I've been here was probably 50 people, and we try to do a good job of showcasing the campus and doing a campus tour. But it's also a double edged sword. Like we get to find out how the player is, but the player also gets to see how we go about things and interact with us and ask us questions, and hopefully they learn something while they're there. And if it works out where both of us kind of like each other, then it's a fit and move forward from there.
Do you feel what if you get an email from a potential student athlete? Do you want them to include a video? And if so, can you kind of tell us what type of video? Do you want game video? Do you like cage work? What should a video include or not include when a prospective student athlete takes the time to send you an email?
Videos always helpful, especially game video, because I mean a lot of times in the spring we're not getting out to see as many guys with us playing, but video is very helpful. I don't really care to see pull down videos of how hard you throw running and throwing into a net and that type of stuff, but it seems like that's a lot of the pitching videos I get. It's just all velo, and it's never even come close to a strike. So I don't really care if you throw 100 if you don't ever throw a strike. That doesn't help me.
Right.
So, but video is very helpful. Who you are, what you do, what's your position, what high school, where you're from. I mean, there's a lot of times we get emails that says they're from such high school. Well, I don't know where the high school is. It could be in Kentucky, it could be in New York. Like, just tell us where you're from, that type of stuff. And a video is always helpful, though.
Can you tell us, parents ask this question all the time, the role of the high school coach or the role of high school. I think a lot of parents think, it's the travel program that interacts with the colleges more than the high school, and the high school's not. Can you talk about the value that you may place as a associate head coach, or just when you're recruiting an athlete, on how they're respectful they are of their high school coach or their high school program, and what that does as far as your interaction with the potential recruit? Are you calling the high school coach? Are you looking for his thoughts on with regard to what type of teammate he is and what type of upside he might have?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it depends on. I mean, most of the time when we get stuff, it's either it's one or the other, and it's who we have a relationship with. Um, but definitely, like the high school coach probably has the best feel for the player because he's probably around him more often than the travel ball coach. But I think all of their opinions matter and kind of go a long way in things.
One of the things that I know that a lot of student athletes really want to know, and you just touched on a little bit with the pull downs, with regard to college pitching, would you rather someone that is a strike thrower that competes in the zone, or are you really looking for that velo or that kind of that strong arm guy first, and then kind of teach him how to pitch? Which would you prefer when you're out recruiting pitchers for Morehead State?
I would prefer the velo with strike throwing. Um, but if it was up to me, like the guy that can throw three pitches and compete and fill up strike zone, that's going to help us out a lot more than a guy that can just throw really hard and has no idea where it's going. I think you can teach guys that. It just depends on how much time, like how many of those guys you have. You can't have a roster full of them. And now with the rosters getting cut, like for us, like we're looking for strike throwers right now that can throw multiple pitches for strikes. Whether your velo's 86, 88 or 92, 94, it doesn't matter because, I mean, we don't have any huge velos on our team right now. So at the end of the day, if you get an out, it doesn't matter how hard you throw it, in my opinion, just whatever gets outs.
Now, how do you foresee potentially the roster, particularly in the fall? How do you think that will play out? Because now you don't have the opportunity to, I mean, whether it's three or four catchers, do you keep more arms? Does that limit college coaches, do you think, or do you just think it levels the playing field with regard to the 38 and then 34 going forward in the spring?
It's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, we're still, like, we had a compliance meeting today. And so, from what I'm understanding, like, you can opt into the whole thing. And then there's guys that aren't opting in, which right now we're not. So I think our roster would still be at 40. It could be, but we'll probably
Okay.
still. I don't. I'm not 100% on that sure still because it's changes. It seems like every week. I
It
think
does.
we're still going on the 34 man is what we're doing for right now. Um, it'll two-way guys are huge now with that. We'll probably still have three catchers and then just kind of figure it out as we go.
You just touched on something. I'm so glad you brought that up. You know, in the day of everybody trying to be a PO, a pitcher only, if you can play other positions and oh by the way you pitch, that's has to add value from a recruiting perspective, especially if you have a hit tool and you have arm strength and you can go to the bump and give some innings. So versatility is definitely going to play a key role moving forward with the roster reduction. Would you tell parents and athletes, you know, keep hitting until somebody tells you stop?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, one, it's the, I mean, that's probably the best thing to do in baseball, in my opinion,
Right.
is to hit. Like, I don't understand what guys that just pitch do all day when it comes to it. Like, I've never been that, never will be. But I mean, I love to hit. I love to hit in the cage and stuff like that. So I would definitely keep hitting as long as possible. One, it's going to help you with pitching, I think, too. Like the rotation, the just being an athlete and not getting stiff like some pitchers do. But the versatility piece of that, I mean, that's huge. I mean, we got a couple of them already, and we're looking for more guys like that because it really helps when it comes down to it.
Yeah, you're going to be able to add and enhance the versatility of a potential roster spot. And also, I would love to know your thoughts on the infielders as far as learning how to catch. You know, I try to get a lot of guys that are third baseman, second baseman, try to tell them that guys like Russell Martin and Jorge Posada were infielders at the collegiate level and became catchers. Talk a little bit about the value of catchers within college athletics. I mean, it's probably the one position that is, you know, under discussed. We all talk about power hitters and power pitchers, but catchers really run the show at the college level. Good hitting college catchers, good defensive catchers. You talk a little bit about, you know, the value of being versatile between the lines, not just as a PO and a hitter.
Huge. I mean, we've been extremely blessed since I've been here is to have really good catchers. I mean, right now we have our starting catchers leading the OVC in home runs, and I think RBIs might be second in RBIs now, but hitting over 300. And then our backup catcher is a freshman who's also been playing second base for us the last couple weeks. And they've both been in the lineup either at catcher, first base, second base, DH the entire year. And being able to do that just helps out tremendously. It's kind of scary at times because it actually happened. We've been saying we needed to put one of them in a position and not DH them in case somebody gets hurt and our starter got hit in the face, and we had to put our other guy in to catch. That's more of a hitter than a catcher, and luckily it didn't hurt us that game, and he was able to come back. He had one of those C flaps on, so it hit
Oh
that
yeah.
and cut
Ooh.
his. It saved him. It cut his chin up. Had to get a couple stitches, but he was back catching that weekend. So it's a huge deal. And then our freshman that we have, I mean, he's really good behind the plate. He's been back lead off for us and playing some second base, first base, he's a baseball player, and that's the best term for him. Is just he's a baseball player.
He likes to get the uniform dirty. He can play anywhere at any time he wants to hit. That's the key. That's the bottom line. Well, Tyler, I would love just to end on this. For those parents of student athletes that might be interested, whether it's attending your camp or, opening up a dialogue with you, what's the best time of year? Is it after the season? Is it during the summer? When do you want to be contacted from a potential recruit? And more importantly, are you social media orientated, or is it best just to start and initiate everything with an email?
Twitter is the best way to probably get in touch with me. And
Okay.
normally I have my phone on me, so I try to respond as much as possible. If not, one of our other two assistants would do it, or a head guy. But we'd love to have guys at camp. Like we've had good numbers at camp before from a lot of different states, and we try to do a good job with what we have and just kind of grow the game and help guys get interest from us. And if not us, like there's normally a couple other schools that come. Like there's a lot of good baseball out there, whether it's Division One, Division Two, JUCO. I played JUCO in college, played at Division One, coached at Division Two and Division One. Like there's a lot of Division Two teams that would absolutely tear up some Division One schools.
That I know. I have one in my backyard, Southern New Hampshire. I mean, I just went and watched them play, and really well coached, and they got guys in the bump 92, 94. All of college baseball on any given day, it's just the depth in the bullpen that's the separator. I would encourage families, parents, student athletes. Morehead State really, consistent program year after year. This year, you get a little bit of an injury bug, but find your way, whether it's to a camp. I'm going to have all of Coach Jackson's contact information in the description, both in the YouTube video, the podcast. Another great way to find everything to do with Morehead State University and Coach Jackson is through the Baseball Blue Book app. Strongly encourage you. It's all brand new, a lot of new additions and upgrades, completely free. Anything to do, whether it's camps, schedule, practices, things like that, it's all going to be in the Blue Book app. Go ahead and find your way over to Morehead State, look at their camp schedule, and you'll be able to reach out directly to Coach Jackson. Tyler, I want to say thank you so much. I know we're in season. I know it's a busy time of year, but I really appreciate you taking the time to join us and talk a little Morehead State University.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. And folks, have a great week in baseball and check out the Ohio Valley Conference. You'll be surprised, and you look across that conference. It's great baseball, and you need to kind of educate yourself into some of these smaller conferences throughout the country, because once the settlement occurs, lots of movement will occur within college baseball, and opportunities will exist in different parts of the country, and Morehead State University is one of those schools. Thanks, Tyler.
I appreciate it.
All right, Captain. I appreciate